can never get rid of the anger, but as long as you know how to control it, life can be so much better. For a long time, I really had thought that anger was a negative emotion because of its destructive nature. But most people don't really realize that you can use anger for good and bad and things like that. Because as long as you can actually keep self control of your emotions and everything. So in this video, I just want to talk about the positives and the negatives of anger, um, the way that you can actually use it for creativity, and the negative parts about how you can actually use it to actually be very destructive. So I want to start by the negative side. So um, I remember when I was younger, I would have like an anger issue, and then I would let everything get to me easily. But when I got older, I've actually had to realize that using the anger on negative emotions is very toxic. As far as like high blood pressure, having like major headaches and things like that. Because a couple months ago, while I was at work, I was very frustrated in my work environment, and then I got so angry and so frustrated, I started to have a nosebleed. I was in the restroom trying to wash my hands, and then my nose started like spewing out blood, and I thought I was dying, you know. But the doctors had told me that I was very stressed out and very angry because I was having a lack of sleep and things like that. So that's a major issue that actually is really toxic and things like that. And then as far as like when you actually are constantly angry around your friends and family, they don't want to be around you as much because like you are always constantly thinking about bad times or just you just in a state of anger. But that could also lead into people not really telling you or showing you how you can actually, how do you talk out your emotions and things like that. Because people only know how to be angry. Um, again, prime example. Growing up, my dad he did the best he could trying to teach me how to control my anger, but I never really knew how to express my other emotions as far as like being vulnerable, talking towards my family, especially towards my parents, on how I truly feel about a lot of things, and that really had brought me into like a frustration state, if I can say that. And there can also be other root causes of you being angry, as far as like childhood trauma. People actually had treated you a certain way, and you just don't know how to actually to deal with it. Again, seeking out a therapist is one of the best ways to actually control your emotions and things like that. And it can actually help you find different avenues and different hobbies that it can actually like steer you into the right direction on how to deal with it. The good ways of using the emotion of anger, it can also suppress the fear. Example: if you were in a car accident and then you were trying to pull out your family members, and then you are in a state of fear, you're trying to figure out like, hey, I need to pull them out a certain amount of times before the car actually explodes, things like that, or better yet, my family is in grave pain. But when you are in a state of anger, you can actually like stop being afraid and then focus on what you were trying to accomplish in that certain scenario. And another way you can actually use the emotion of anger is when you actually are in a work environment. Now again, I know early in the video I actually had said that you can be fully upset. You can actually end up being having like high blood pressure and things like that. But when you are in a work environment and then you are trying to get a task done, you don't have time to be like, oh, I gotta worry about this X, Y, and Z. You can easily just express. You can easily get the task done as far as like you wanting to be the best you can be in the work environment, and then you don't be worried about anyone else can actually take up your spot. So the way you can actually deal with your anger is first of all, just to talk to someone that you can trust. If you're married, talk to your spouse. If you have friends, make sure you actually know that they are willing to sit down and then hear what you gotta say, because like as far as like us men, we don't really have any men spaces. And then what I mean by man space is that not a lot of men can actually come together and then I talk about their emotions, because a lot of men don't really do that, because we got to get stuff done. And the second thing you can actually do with your emotions is actually talk to a therapist. And I know a lot of people will say like, no, a therapist is only telling you what you already know, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also a good thing to actually like talk to someone about your feelings, because like not a lot of people actually have someone to actually talk to, and then like just to spew out your thoughts to someone is also really good therapy. I mean, I know, I know for me, I always like come on home. Well, I always drive home, screaming on the top of my lungs, trying to like pour out all my anger to actually just like just just to feel better, and then that usually does help me out. But now since I've actually had learned to push out my emotions and then like actually express the way I feel, I talk to my wife about it. Now I don't have many friends, but like for the people who I actually do consider as a friend, I do talk about it every now and then, but I don't really actually dive in on how I actually feel my emotions, because again, I have my wife. She is the one person that I do trust, that she don't use my vulnerability vulnerability. I really hope I am saying that correctly. Use my vulnerability as a tool to like use it against me and such. But that is the gist on how to control your anger. I mean, I've dealt with it for many years. I'm still dealing with it. I mean, it's like you can never get rid of the anger, but as long as you know how to control it, life can be so much better. Life can be so much easier. You can think more, less headaches, things like that, and you just have a long lasting life, man, for real. I know this video is gonna be kind of choppy and everything, but I just wanted to push out my thoughts about it, and this can really help you out with your friends and family, and then make sure you share this video if you know someone actually has like an anger issue, things like that, or actually are still currently dealing with it. Because as long as you know how to control your anger, you'll be a force to be reckoned with.